morning, YouTube, and welcome to a quick Tuesday live stream. Well, I did get one in last week, but I managed to totally mess up the audio. I normally have my microphone attached to the folded treadmill here, and I was going to use the treadmill directly afterwards, attach the microphone to the bike, and basically the audio was terrible because it was picking up so much crap coming up through the bike. Anyway. Tell me what it thinks I need to do, and I don't always listen to it, but I did have a particularly useful weekend from a training point of view, so I think it's got to be worth listening to it when it says recovery. So what I've done is basically gone into custom workouts, built my own workout, really nice interface in Zwift, drag and drop. If you want to warm up, drag a warm-up block, set how long you want it for, how many watts, and then there are various other blocks you can drop in and just build your own custom workout like I've done here. So the watch wants me to do 160 watts for 30 minutes. If I left it to the watch, would just take me straight in at 160. I've given myself just a 60-second ramp up to that, and then I think just slightly longer than 60-second ramp down at the end. So plan for today is recovery ride, and then I'm into a weight set this morning, so let's do this workout. We'll just go to the volcano and okay, so here we go. So the really nice thing about this in Zwift is that, like I say, you can build those custom workouts. And if you use ERG mode, of course, the bike is just going to keep you honest with the power. So normally, if you've watched any of my other live streams, you'll see me messing about down here, changing gears. None of that. The bike is talking to the Mac, and they are both keeping me honest. So as you can see, we're just into the 60-second warm-up here. And here comes the 160 block in the middle. Now, except it's not a very interesting workout to do or to watch. Just 160 watts for nigh on 30 minutes. But I think it's useful in pointing out that, you know, what you can do with Zwift, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm a Zwift fanboy. What you can do is, if you're using a device like this that's prescribing a workout, well, just go into custom workouts and build it. And that way you can always keep yourself honest against what your fitness device is telling you. And, you know, I do guess that this thing on my wrist probably knows more about where I am from a training perspective than the thing between my ears, which would just normally tell me just go out every morning and smash it. And of course, you know, right now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that my focus is on losing weight. So right now, the weight is down to 114 kilos from 141.6. So I'm happy with that. And in fact, I'm thinking the next video I might put out is all about kind of how I've used Zwift as one of my key tools for losing weight. Because I think indoor training, when you're carrying as much timber as I was, has a number of benefits. Firstly, there's the fact that, well, like I said in my last video, I was too heavy, really, for any of my road bikes. So, you know, having a watt bike here with a much higher max user weight limit on it, and I'll be honest with you, I was over that. But from my perspective, it's not as dangerous to be riding a static trainer over the recommended weight limit on a turbo or indoors than it is out on the road. So there's that. There's the simple fact of the matter that, you know, when you're as big as I was, just going to move my cursor over here on OBS Studio. When you're as big as I was, you don't feel comfortable actually riding a road bike. So, you know, and like I say, there is that always that niggling doubt. When I was at 140 kilos odd, always that little voice saying if you ride one of these road bikes, you're going to crack a frame or break a wheel. But equally, I'm human, and as such, prone to a bit of vanity, and I just didn't look good on a road bike. Don't get me wrong, I still don't look like Primoz Roglic on a road bike, but I am at a stage where at least I feel comfortable riding my road bike, and, you know, 6 kilos under the kind of 120 threshold that seems to be recommended max user weight for most road bikes and wheels these days. So yeah, there's a video coming on that, because I do honestly think, and not just Zwift, I think indoor training in general, for somebody who's in that position where you are what I'd call large enough to feel uncomfortable on a bike, I think this is a great starting platform. And also, you know, if you have the luxury of a mountain bike as well as road bikes, I did a lot of miles early into this weight loss plan. I did a lot of miles on my mountain bike, purely because if you look at the frame, it's big, chunky box section alley, good, decent welds on it, and you know, a frame and tyres that are designed to take big hits. So, you know, something that's comfortable absorbing the impact of, shall we say, a 90-kilogram rider landing it off a jump or hammering it down some single track, that's probably going to be less of a stress on the frame and components than a sort of 140-ish kilo bloke just riding it on flat tarmac. I don't even know what the max rider weight for that bike is, but I suspect it's higher than the road bikes. But of course, that is all an issue that is thankfully behind me and will stay behind me now as I continue onwards towards 100 kilos, where the focus changes from just burning fat to get myself back into triathlon, with the lofty goal being, oh, thank you very much for that ride on there, S. Norman, ships. I feel really bad because she gives me a ride on most mornings, and even if I jump onto the treadmill straight after this, I get a ride on there off of her, and I seldom get to return it when she's riding. So yeah, completely lost my thread there, but yeah, indoor training, really valuable tool in my opinion. If, like me, you're carrying the kilos, you're at a weight that makes you uncomfortable or even potentially unsafe on a road bike, well, get your butt on here. And also, you know, as I was just saying back then a few minutes ago, it's not just Zwift. Any of your decent training apps would do this, would be good for this. Definitely Full Gas. Ruby. I've got to revisit Ruby. I've given that a hard time a couple of times previously because it wasn't playing nicely with the Watt bike, and I just wasn't getting it. But you know, they continue to evolve the platform, so I will definitely, I think, revisit that one. And in fact, I've been so focused on Zwift just recently, I need to revisit Full Gas as well. So yeah, any of those apps would be good. Incidentally, I downloaded Rolla, R-O-L-L-A. Now, that's an indoor training app that looks like it's got great potential. The graphics look really nice. They look similar to RGT, and it actually functions in a similar way, in that you've got a kind of two-part app. Thank you very much, Joe Phelps, for the ride on there. So you've got a two-part app. So the phone is the main control, and then that relays just a display to a display. And for the life of me, I just can't get the two to talk to each other properly. Now, some of that could be because I think it's primarily designed to run on something like an iPad. And I've got it downloaded. I've got the display app downloaded on a Mac Mini. But, you know, I think there was they were demoing this thing at, was it Interbike, Eurobike, one of the recent shows, and they had it running on a bank of gaming PCs. So if it will run on those things, I can't for the life of me see why it wouldn't run properly on my my Mac there. But if I get it working, I'll do a review if anyone's interested. So this morning I am wearing this rather fetching Wiggins cycling jersey, wrapper no less, my first wrapper, which I scored off of eBay, real bargain, 20 quid, nice, and it's good that I can actually go onto eBay and find things like the fine cycling kit that I don't look at and think, Jesus, there's no way I'm getting into that. This particular designer jersey, I don't know if it's very popular actually. One, because like all pro riders, Wiggins seems to be a love it or hate it phenomenon. I like the guy, to be honest. But secondly, he designed the jersey apparently. He's a bit of a mod from what I pick up. And it's got a roundel on the back. So roundel, think side of an RAF aircraft or top and bottom of the wings of an RAF aircraft. That those concentric rings. And I got to be honest, I think, you know, he obviously designed it for a pro team, fine, but I don't think there was a lot of thought about its sales potential to the average cycling audience, because I do feel like I've got a target on my back, which is something your average motorist does not need to see on the back of a cyclist. So stupid as this sound, holding 160 watts for half an hour, do you know what, it's just a little bit more useful, shall I say, than I thought it was going to be. Now we are on the flat course this morning, and of course we're doing a prescribed workout, so thankfully there's no sprint involved, because after Sunday I don't think that it would be good for the legs. I did about 80, I think it was 86, 87k on Sunday, which by my recent standards is a good distance, and I've started adding in quite a bit of hill work as well. So we've got a couple of local hills that, I mean, I live in Essex in the UK, and the topography of Essex, well, it's not known for its monster climbs, but what we do have locally is a number of what I'd call challenging little ramps. And there's one in particular that's not too far away that'll give you a 4 mile of climbing with a ramp in the middle that goes from about 10 to about 14%, and that is quite challenging for me currently, given my lack of fitness. But ever since I recommissioned the Trek Damani, see my latest video for that, excuse me, ever since I recommissioned the Trek, I've included this one particular climb as part of my Sunday ride. And encouragingly, I've been quicker up it every week. So, you know, there's some sort of progress there, isn't there? Now, talking of the Trek, poor old girl showing her age. Now, that particular bike is fitted with Trek's BB90 bottom bracket. Not their finest hour, if I'm honest. I think everyone acknowledges that. And ever since I've had the bike, it's suffered from bottom bracket bearings, which are, well, actually the dealer said to me, consider them a service item. So just replace them annually. And honestly, it's such a bad design. These are standard sealed cartridge bearings. They have a kind of plastic top hat spacer stroke seal that pushes into them. And from the factory, they probably are a decent press fit. But even after a year, I was finding you wouldn't need a press to take those bearings out. They would just fall out the frame. And here we are, about, 11 years later. And, well, the constant change of bearings and a couple of bearings that have clearly been in there past their useful shelf life have clearly seized and spun. There's now wear on the frame, and this is a common phenomenon with that BB90. And of course, the frame, unlike some press fit applications, does not have pressed in cups. These bearings are straight onto the carbon of the frame. So after my Sunday ride, when I was doing my usual maintenance with the bike, I'd noticed there was a click coming from the bottom bracket area, gave the old cranks a wiggle, and there's the happened. On closer inspection, what I said can happen has happened. The at some point a bearing has spun in its housing, and there's now eroded carbon in the bottom bracket area. So I was kind of, in my head, there was a little bit of me was concerned that maybe that's written the frame off. Now, I believe it's Endura make a slightly oversized bearing for this particular situation. And I did think of buying some of those, but I don't know. Felt like it could be throwing good money after bad, until I discovered that Token make an integrated bottom bracket assembly that basically screws together. So if you imagine two sides of the bottom bracket, each side looks like a tube, one fits inside the other, and it's got a fine thread on it, so you can tighten this whole thing up as an integrated unit, which you cannot do with standard BB90. And more importantly, the cups sit into the frame where the old seal cartridge bearings used to be, and they obviously, because they're screwed together, they fit nicely into the frame, they hold each other in line, and it looks like it could be the solution to my problem. Now, it's not cheap, because you have to buy the bottom bracket, about 50 quid, but then you need a special tool to fit it, about 30 quid. So, you know, you're in for a 80 quid on a bottom bracket change, but the way I look at it is, if it saves that bike and saves that frame, that's minimal cost. That's a set of tyres. So, yeah, I'll be interested to get that. Apparently it's coming on Friday, and get it fitted. Again, if you're interested, I think a good technical video coming on that one, because I'm guessing a lot of these old BB90 frames are kind of getting to the point where this is going to be an issue. And I think primarily the BB90 was found on things like Trex Damani, I think probably on the Madone, I think possibly even on some of their mountain bike stuff. So again, you know, if your frame is suffering from this, it might be worth a watch, because rather than scrapping a perfectly good frame, you know, there could be a way to save it, and I'm all for that. Right, I'm just going to have a quick stand to stretch the legs. There we go. I've also treated myself to some new bib shorts. Now, the ones I currently have on, Planet X 365 bib shorts. Nice. Not too expensive. 2 pairs for about 50 quid. However, as I've reduced my volume, shall we say, I've found that they have become just a little less than comfortable on the pad, because obviously the good thing, the thing about a bib short is you want it to be close fitting and hold the pad in place. And these aren't particularly close fitting right now. In fact, in certain areas they're baggy. So I did look at some Rafa bib shorts, but they get really bad reviews actually, even on their own website. So, or at least the ones that I could afford did. which would be the core bib shorts. So I've opted for Altura, a good solid old brand. I've used Altura kit ever since I've been a cyclist, and it's really never let me down. So if you are in the market for some kit, they've got a sale on their website right now. I've picked up a couple of pairs of Pro Gel bib shorts and a pair of their Icon bib shorts. And those three together with the 10% bonus that you get as a new customer, are cheaper than one pair of Rapha core bib shorts. So I think I'll keep buying their jerseys, Rapha that is, not Altura, because this feels really nice actually. Feels really well made. It's a nice fit, even on my XXL frame size. And I love it. I love the look. So, and they do. Oh, I said do. They do make some nicely understated designs, which I really like. So, I'll keep buying their jerseys, I think, but bib shorts and bib tights, I'll probably stick with what I know, purely because those items seem to be so expensive, and where I would happily buy a used jersey from eBay, I think I'll be a bit more particular about buying a pair of used bib shorts. So here we come. We're into our cool down section. 9 seconds left. If you've watched any of this, watch is counting down. There you go. Watch is happy. I've done my workout. So if you've watched any of this, thank you very much. If you've commented and I haven't seen it, well, if you've watched any of my live streams, you know my ineptitude with OBS and my dodgy eyesight makes me struggle in seeing the chats coming in. So if you did chat me, apologies. If not, happy Tuesday, folks. Have a great week, and I will catch you in the next one.